Hey everybody, I'm Tom Basso and welcome to Week in Review. Check out this series that we do each week as we take a look at all the videos we do in the past week. We're trying to make an index of sorts where you can watch this video and say, ooh, I missed something, and go back and watch it. So here we go. Let's get started.
Hey everybody, I'm Garcia. Here's what I reviewed last week. So I reviewed Canopy Evergreen, the follow-up to Canopy. And, this one takes a game that was only for 2 players and brings it all the way up to 4. The gameplay is actually very similar, and that's good. I like Canopy. But this one doesn't innovate enough, and a few of the things it adds detract from the experience. For one thing, playing with more than 2 is actually a little slow, and 2 was sort of the right call in the first place. Playing with 4 certainly outstays its welcome. They also have a new couple of scoring conditions in which you're gathering animals and you sort of chain them and you're matching symbols. It just feels like a thing that's there to give you one more something to score. And I didn't really care for that. There's also some trees that I enjoy the way that they unlock new abilities for the players, but they're a little bit fiddly. So for every one thing they added, to sort of detracted another, and so it gets a solid score because I still very much like the game of 7 for me. And I reviewed Nova Era, which I gave a 7.5 to. This is sort of a Civ-themed game in which you are gathering cards and having your civilization progress and decay as well because of new things that come into play, the obsolescence of things because of new innovations and inventions. The game has a very clean rule set. It is very straightforward. It has a very serious limitation of actions that you need to be concerned with. You're going to be drafting dice, and you're using those dice to gather new cards and get resources, things like that. There's a couple of issues I had with the game, but overall, I think it's a good one as long as you know going into it that, a couple of things that I think is better at a lower player count. And that you have to know that things are going to decay, be destroyed, that there are cards coming up that are going to possibly destroy your stuff. If you go into it from that point of view, knowing that's what it's attempting to demonstrate, then I think you could have a good time with it. And that's going to be it for me. I'm Z Garcia. I'll see you on the next one.
Hey everybody, Chris here. This week I took a look at one game, that was Resafa. This is the newest game from Vladimir Suchy. I gave this one a 6.5. I think it has a lot of very clever, good mechanisms going on in it. I particularly really enjoy the multi-use cards and the little market of cards on the side that you can take bonuses from with almost every action. But I find that the 3 different stages, I'm not really engaged in the main 3 different things going on in the main map. And so while this is competent, while it's good, it's not special enough for me to think that I'm going to come back to it and keep the rules set in mind for the game that it is. I'd rather sooner come back to something like Ezra and Nehemiah that has 3 parts of the board, multi-use cards, and that type of stuff. So, 6.5 for me, and that has been my week.
Alright guys, this week I took a look at Nova Era. Unfortunately, this one did not really work for me. I came in at a 4 on it. This is one that was hard to rate and review because I really enjoyed a lot of what was happening here. I enjoy the resource management of this, and that resource exchange, how the cards have powers and you want to play them out into your civilization for that power and kind of that engine buildy feel, but ultimately it's not an engine builder, and I found myself getting caught too much in these negative loops. As the destructions and disasters happen, it can just completely wreck your tableau to where it just feels like you're just scraping by to try to survive, and if you get caught in a bad disaster, it kind of just wrecks the game. So I just felt like, to me, the turns were just trying to survive negativity instead of being fulfilling and rewarding. So I came in at a 4 on Nova Era, unfortunately, this week, but that's it. Let's keep going.
Hey everybody, I'm Joey Evans, and here's what I reviewed this week. First off, it's Arapa Mine, which is a deduction style game that doesn't use lasers, but the idea of lasers shooting across. It's actually really, really fun at 2 people. 2 is the best thing for this. I give that a 9, so check that out. Also, Last of Us, Escape the Dark. It's based on the Escape the Dark Castle, Escape the Dark Sector system, but it takes it to a longer game with an IP. So instead of 20 minutes, it's 2 hours, and this one just didn't grab me. You may like it if you love the IP, but I ended up giving it a 6. Also looked at Kyoto no Neko. This is a family-style game, the family weight game that uses little cats, and you're just going around doing skill checks and collecting rewards. I like this a lot. I think it's a great game for a family. Components are cute, looks really good on the table. And I gave that an 8. And those are the games that I reviewed this week.
Hi, I'm Wendy Yee, and this week I reviewed Rasafa, and I gave it an 8.5 because it is a solidly awesome game. I really enjoyed it. So it is a very ugly Euro. I accept that it's very beige. It takes place in the desert, and you're trying to bring water in the desert and build up trading posts. So the theme is not that unique either. But I did very much enjoy the game, and I think that the part that really stuck out to me, obviously I won't go into everything. There's a lot to say. But when you're playing your multi-use cards, you are choosing both an action and a color based on what the card is that you play. And those colors are tracks you can move up on for these like really amazing, crazy, super powerful cards, or you can use them for an immediate bonus card benefit. And so I just really like that idea of like, I'm not only taking an action and choosing an action, but I'm also choosing what color I want to work on or what color I want to get an immediate bonus. And sometimes that bonus can help you take the action that you're taking. So anyways, there's a lot of cool stuff going on in Rasafa, and you got to watch the review to know more about what my thoughts are on that. But in the meantime, I'm Wendy Yee. Let's go ahead and see who's next.
Hey there, everybody. It's Mike Delisio, and this week I reviewed a number of games. Let's start off with Nova Era, which I rated a 7. This is a civilization-themed card game, and it does some really interesting things. It kind of reinforces the idea of things becoming obsolete, and so one of the ways it does that is that cards that you have built up in your civilization are going to become obsolete, basically get removed. So I think players need to know that going in, and I think for some players it will definitely be something that they don't particularly like, but I like it. I love the dice drafting in it. Solid game, 7 out of 10 for Nova Era. Next up at 7.5 is Fromage, the game of cheese. And so this is a game that has a really interesting kind of production where you've got this wheel almost as your board, and there are 4 pie slices, and any turn of yours you're going to have one of those pie slices in front of you, and you're doing a little kind of a mini game on that board. The next turn it rotates on a Lazy Susan, and you're doing the next board. What's so really innovative about it is that when you place your workers, it's going to be in a particular direction, and so some workers will come back to you next turn, some workers will come back to you in 2 turns, some workers will come back to you in 3, but it's so easy to know when, because on your turn at the beginning, whichever workers are facing you, you pick them up and they're back available to you. Really cool production, nice fun game from Maj. Also at 7.5 is Kyoto no Neko, which is a family weight game for the most part, with a couple of little weird edge cases that weren't in there, but it's a delightful theme of kittens roaming around Japan, and they are trying to catch bugs, and they're trying to climb trees to see their surroundings, and it just feels unique. Honestly, it feels unique. There's some elements that are almost like a roll and move, although you're not technically rolling and moving, but it evokes some very, very, I don't know, playful. It's a playful game. That's the word I'm looking for. Kyoto no Neko, 7.5. At Flatiron is next at 8. I scored this an 8 out of 10. This is a 2-player game where you are building the Flatiron building in New York. Really clever game, driven by cards. You're trying to build the different floors of the Flatiron building. Really solid game. Is Flatiron. And then finally, we've got Orapa Mine, which I gave an 8.5. And this is a deduction game that seems simple, but belies how complicated and tough it can be. It's a deduction game where you could play multiplayer. I like it best of 2, where you have a grid of letters and numbers and some pieces, geometric pieces that you're placing down, and the one person will ask one of the rows or numbers, or one of the letters or numbers, and the person that set up the puzzle is going to answer where the laser exits. So basically, if you're saying, if I'm shooting a laser from 3, where does it come out and at what color? Because these pieces have different colors. Hard to explain, hard to play, but an amazing deduction game. That is A Rop of Mine. That's going to do it for me this week. See you on the next one.
Obviously, the biggest thing we did last week was the top 100 games of all time. Mike Delisio came down to join us, and we went all the way up to number 1, talked about them. We ran a flash marathon at the end of our GameFound crowdfunding campaign, and thank you to all of those of you who backed that. I reviewed several games. I did a review of 6 short games. I think 1 or 2 good, the rest bad. 7 kids games, kind of all over the place with the rankings on those. I also reviewed Flatiron, a neat 2-player game about the famous Flatiron building in New York. Gave that a 7.5. And Fromage, a game about cheese, a very neat simultaneous play with a spinning board game. I gave that 8 out of 10. And then A Rop of Mine. This is a small little card game that kind of surprises because it not only did it show up on I did a review, but it also showed up on my top 100 from last week. 9 out of 10. A fantastic little deduction game. So there you go, folks. That's it. I hope you enjoyed last week. We're getting ready to gear up and give more content coming your way. Until next time, I'm Tom Vassell, and this is Week in Review on the Dice Tower. Hey folks, thanks for watching another one of our videos. If you like our videos, if you like our channel, you would love to game with us at one of our conventions. Check out Dice Tower Cruise, Dice Tower East, and Dice Tower West. Fantastic conventions where we play games with wonderful people, a humongous library, and lots of other events and stuff. Also, don't forget to check out our channel, like and subscribe. I'm Tom Vassell.
Now I'm going to take a look at this chocolate that's been sitting in here closet for a while. No idea what language this is. Pretty sure. I'm not confident this is the one that Chris gave me. Let's see here. Open this up. Here's the thing. Chocolate, I like chocolate. But when other countries give chocolate, they just put crap in there. And sometimes it's weird. Sometimes it's good. This one, not so sure. Here we go. Let's see. Wow. Oh. What is in this? It's not even in English. I don't even know. It's like they taste chocolate and they're like, you know what would be good with this chocolate? Cleaning supplies. Oh, what is... This is brutal. I give this like a -1. Oh, it even has Christmas. This just ruined Christmas for me.